Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's live streaming IELTS. We're just about to get going here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's live IELTS. We're just about to get going here. And as we do, let's make sure that you can hear me and see me okay. Hi Utsav. Can you see me, hear me? Hi, Prosafa. Can you guys hear me, see me okay? I see Incubus and Raya are already in the stream as well. Sergia, can you see me okay? Yep, okay. Awesome, great. So today we will be looking at another kind of IELTS Task 2 example with some strategy. Today's Task 2, you'll notice, will be an interesting one. It's an important one. The materials are coming from aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. Those are our websites. This is what they look like. This is academic IELTS, and you go to aehelp.com, you log in, and then you have lots and lots of goodies here to help you achieve your score. There's a full course, 6 practice exams, 40 lesson videos, and on the right here you actually have a green button with lots of IELTS Task 2 questions. You can choose a question, and then it gives you the question here, and then you can write the answer, submit it, and our professionals will edit, mark, and give you feedback. Yes, Ali, this is a live video, and I can see your questions. I can see what you guys are commenting, what you're asking. So that's right, Mehmed. Thanks for confirming. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, please let me know. Please try to keep it clean to make it enjoyable for everybody else. I will try to answer as many of your questions as possible. Of course, sometimes there are so many questions that I can't actually see them. They're moving so quickly. If you have something super important to ask or comment, then please use Super Chat if you have it available. It's the little $ beside the emoji. Hi, Chris Bautista from Saudi Arabia. Utsav, for a job, you should be careful. It's often academic IELTS, but sometimes it's general IELTS. You have to check with the place that's offering the job. Academic IELTS is generally stronger than general IELTS because it is a little bit more difficult in the reading and writing sections. The speaking and the listening are the same, so most workplaces or higher level jobs like to see high scores in academic IELTS, but some workplaces do take general IELTS, so you have to check with the company. Okay, that's the best thing to do, is just check with the company which IELTS they prefer. Generally speaking, for all of you out there, you're welcome, Utsav. Generally speaking, academic IELTS, so in most situations, usual cases, academic IELTS is for university. If you want to study abroad, or some universities in your country require IELTS, academic IELTS for graduating or master's doctorate studies. General IELTS is most common for immigration purposes. I can't read Cyrillic, although I think I'm going to try to learn soon enough because I do have a lot of students who have Cyrillic names. So somebody there's asking me, is the website free? Yeah, there is a free version. So I'll show you with the general one. So there is a free version of the website. If you click on that green button, it's try the demo. That's a free version of our website, and there's actually a lot of information there and a lot of help for you for free there as well. Of course, if you want everything and all of our help, then you have to join the full course, and then even after that, we do charge extra for editing work or for live speaking interview practice, just because that requires more of our time as well, okay? CPE, it's a great question, Utsab. Sometimes students do ask, is CPE better than IELTS? Generally speaking, no. IELTS is the most widespread test of English in the world, okay? More students will take IELTS general or academic than TOEFL, TOEIC, CPE. So if you have a good score in IELTS, it will be worth more on a global scale than a CPE, than a TOEFL or a TOEIC. However, again, it's important that you check with your place of application or country of application what they prefer. When students ask me, is the difficulty the same or is it different? That's a very tough question. The difficulty of these tests is usually equal. Okay, so the difficulty of the CPE, of TOEFL, of TOEIC, of IELTS is usually equal. Mind you, TOEIC's a little bit different. TOEIC's kind of fading away. But most of these exams, the difficulty to get the same level of score is roughly the same. Now, having said that, it depends on your personality. For instance, TOEFL, Test of English as a Foreign Language, the internet-based test, it's all multiple choice. So the format is a little bit different than IELTS. There's no fill in the blanks, there's no summary completion, there's no true, false, not given. So some people think, hey, TOEFL is easier, but for some people, multiple choice is very easy, and they like to take TOEFL. For other people, they find multiple choice questions very difficult, so they prefer IELTS. You're right, Utsav, TOEIC is getting easy, and students can get good scores by taking the test again and again. That's why it's becoming unpopular for places, because they know that TOEIC is not a true reflection of English ability. And that's why IELTS will continue to be a popular test, because IELTS is quite good at assessing your actual ability in English. All right. So without further ado, let's get to this IELTS Task 2 example and strategy. I'm giving you this code again today, the LIVE20, L-I-V-E 20, for a 20% discount off of our full courses. Again, use Super Chat, and guys and girls, you are all awesome people. Study hard. We love that you support us, that you learn with us, and we love helping you just the same. So keep reaching for your dreams and your goals. Never give up. Never let anyone discourage you or tell you that you can't. You can. You have beautiful brains inside of your heads. Those brains are the most powerful machines in the known world. They are capable of everything you can imagine and much more. So live moral, ethical lives, believe in yourselves, and I'm sure you will succeed in IELTS and in your life goals. All right, so let's look at the question today for starters, and then we will touch a bit of vocabulary as we get going here as well. But just let's have a look at this IELTS Task 2 question. Now, IELTS Task 2 is generally the same for both academic and general IELTS, so it's usually the same for both. It's worth 2/3 of your writing mark. So it's worth about 65% of your total score for the writing section. It takes 40 minutes, so you should make sure that you have 40 minutes, okay? In the writing section, they do not tell you when 20 minutes is up for task 1, so you have to pay attention. Usually nobody will say anything. You just have to pay attention to the time and realize that you've used up your 20 minutes for task 1, and now you have 40 minutes for task 2. It's 250 words. 40 minutes is a lot of time, guys. How many seconds? Anybody know how many seconds 40 minutes actually is? How many seconds is 40 minutes? Quick math. Why not? Let's throw a little bit of math in with the English. Also, check how many of you are paying attention. So how many seconds are in 40 minutes? That's right, 2,400. Yeah, 2,400, not 24,000, it's 2,400. It's 60 times 40. Okay. Make sure you're quick on your basic math skills, because the listening section in IELTS will test that a little bit. Now, in every country, there are different ways to count seconds. In English-speaking countries, we often count seconds as 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000. So if you imagine counting to 2,400 1,000s that way, then maybe you'll be a little bit more confident and less stressful that 40 minutes, if you're doing the right steps, is actually a lot of time. Okay, so that's a lot of time for 250 words, as long as you practice and you know what to do. All right. Now, the IELTS Task 2 is what kind of an essay? Does anybody know what kind of essay IELTS Task 2 is? There are 4 types of essays in English. IELTS Task 2 is, it's an opinion, guys, but it's not called an opinion. So in English literature, we don't actually say opinion essay. We use a different word. So it's an essay where you try to convince your reader. What do we call essays in English where you try to convince your reader? That's right, Said. It is a first-person perspective. Absolutely. And you're trying to, it's not a narrative, Utsav. A narrative is a storytelling. Agree or disagree is one type of opinion essay. There's a word that starts with a P. That's right, Pro-Safa. It's a persuasive essay, okay? So task 2 is a persuasive essay in first-person voice. It is very, very important that all of you are clear on what persuasive essay means and what first-person voice means. If you don't know what persuasive essay means or what first-person voice means, then that's where you have to start. Persuasive essay is an opinion essay. It means you're trying to convince your reader of an idea, of an argument, of a choice. First person means that you're speaking from your own position. So you speak as I, me, my, okay? A lot of IELTS teachers say, oh, don't write I, me, my. That's not true, and you'll see that in a second. So IELTS Task 2 is a persuasive essay in first-person voice pretty much always, okay? Now, let's look at the question for today. So the question for today is, unemployment is one of the biggest problems of contemporary society. What do you think are the main causes of unemployment? What solutions can you suggest? Include any relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. Okay? So one more time. Unemployment is one of the biggest problems of contemporary society. What do you think are the main causes of unemployment? What solutions can you suggest? Include any relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. All right, so that's the question. We know it's a persuasive, it's a first person. All right. Now there's something interesting about this question. Can anybody see how this question is unique from a lot of the other Task 2 questions? How is this question a little bit different than many of the Task 2 questions that you're practicing? What's different about the format? It is a causes and solution type essay, yes. And again, you're persuading, so you're convincing your audience of the causes and solutions. What is something interesting beyond the fact that it's causes and solutions? There is an opinion, because it's going to be your opinion what the causes and what the solutions are. So you do have an opinion. Hi Hidil and hi Meet Patel, by the way. I see you guys jumping in there. Meet Patel says examples of your own. Yes, and I'm going to address that a little bit more clearly. Meet Patel, can you tell me what you mean by examples of your own? Because you're on to something, so you have the right idea. You're going down the right path with that. examples of your own. What do you mean? So how is it different from other Task 2 IELTS questions? It is your own experience, and Sana, yeah, it's something about your experience, but that's common in a lot of Task 2s. So a lot of Task 2s will say, talk about this from your own experiences or knowledge. Yeah, you have to write your own examples. So basically in the world, there are two types of questions. One type of question is what's called a closed question. Closed question means a limited set of answers, often yes or no. So I'll give you an example of that. Which do you think is better for society? Let me think of one here. Which do you think of is better for society? Owning pets or not? Okay, that's actually one of the IELTS questions. So, so a closed question is a type of question where you have a limited opportunity for answers. Often it's a yes or no. Tag questions are that way. It's a beautiful painting, isn't it? Yes or no. It's a closed question. Which do you think is better for society, owning pets or not? I think owning pets is better for society, or I think not owning pets is better for society. So it's a limited set of answers. It's one or two. What do you prefer, riding a bicycle to work or driving your car? It's a limited choice there, one or the other. Okay? And then, of course, the other type is what's called an open question. So an open question can have many answers, such as, what did you do today? Okay, so a lot of the W questions, what did you do today, is an open question because it has many answers. So, Sala, Okpa, what did you do today? Yes, that's right side, it can be, but by choosing one side or the other, it gives you a much more clear direction. So it limits the amount of information that you have to search or that you have to organize in order to write your essay. So that actually leads into my next question. Yeah, Meet Patel, you can write whatever you know in open questions. So which do you think is easier to answer? Or let's be even more specific to IELTS. Which do you think is an easier task 2? Open or closed format? What do you guys think? Which one is easier, open or closed? Hike says closed. Hunger 8096 says open. Mint says closed. Utsav says open. Rakhma says closed. Parmar says closed. Amin says open. So notice how there's a bit of disagreement. So that's great. You guys have a bit of a debate here about what it is. I actually agree with the fact that closed is easier. Why? Why are closed questions usually easier to get a higher score? And guys, girls, this is I'm not just guessing this. I actually see this when I mark students for IELTS. So when I'm looking at students' essays, usually students do a better job with closed task 2 questions than open ones. That's actually why more IELTS task 2 questions are closed questions. So I would probably say like it's a guess, but 80%, 90% of questions for IELTS are closed, and then probably about 10, 20% are open. So, because it's a yes/no question, and says, yeah, in some ways it is, because they're easier to answer. That's what Drashti Parmar says, because they're simply easier to answer. And yeah, you choose one side. They're easier to answer and find common ground or consensus. And there's kind of another reason there is open questions can be difficult because it is easy to go off topic. Okay? So, or easier to go off topic. So that's the interesting part there, is that open questions, when somebody just asks you, what did you do today? You start talking about what you did today, and then 2 minutes later you're talking about where you want to go, what was the coolest thing that you did last week. So open questions are beautiful for communication because we really open up dialogue. We really open up the chance to discover each other's true thinking. That's why in relationships between girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, open questions are a very important part of happy relationships. So not just saying to your wife, hey, do you want to eat bread or not, but asking her, what would you like to eat? Or where would you like to go, instead of do you want to go to the movies? Do you want to go to the movies is sometimes okay. It's a yes or no, but it's much nicer to say, honey, where would you like to go? And that gives your wife or your partner the opportunity to say, well, today I'd really love to go to the park. So something that they really want to do. So in communication, open questions are beautiful. I want to give you that very nice gem for your lives, that they take more time, but use open questions in your communication. However, for IELTS writing task 2, it's kind of the reverse. It's better to get a closed question than to get an open question. However, there is a 1 in 5 chance that you will get an open question like today's question. So you'll get an open question like this one, where the question will be, what do you think are the main causes of unemployment? What solutions can you suggest? Okay, so a really important piece of advice for you if you go to IELTS and you get this open question. So if you get an open question for IELTS, it's very, very important that you decide very clear key points for your thesis statement before you start writing, okay? That's one way to guarantee that you're not going to go off track. And again, on our website, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com, we explain this with a lot of detail and examples. I will give you some of that information today, but again, I highly, highly suggest checking out our websites so that you can write a powerful thesis and still get a good mark even with open questions. So decide on those key points before you begin writing. Do not write a thesis like, I will explain the main reasons for unemployment below. This equals a bad thesis. Okay? So it's really bad when students do this. My leg's getting a lot better, me Patel. Definitely a lot better. I'm not limping anymore. So I can stand on it properly. Thanks for asking about that. So, yeah, that's right, Salah. You've realized that I do more than just teach English. You might guess that my major in university is psychology. Anyhow, so this kind of thesis, I will explain the main reasons for unemployment and solutions below, is a bad thesis, okay? It's an easy way to get lost in your writing, to go off topic. It becomes very confusing for your reader. So this is a bad thesis. So we want to have a good thesis. So before we do that, let's identify the topic and the controlling idea of this essay. So what's the topic of this essay? What is the topic for this essay? So this is one of the first steps that you do when you read your task 2 question, okay, is you identify the topic. What's the topic here? It's unemployment, that's right. Okay, now, what's the controlling idea? What's the controlling idea of this question? So let's jump back to it. Here's the question. Okay, Saeed, you said problems and solutions. Careful, look at the questions here. There's one important word that you guys are missing. Ishani, you're also missing this word. There's another word that you need with problems. What's that missing word with the problems there? Contemporary just means, yeah, biggest, main. That's right. Good job, all of you who realized that one of the important words here is main. Okay, so main is a very important part of this. You can't just talk about all kinds of problems leading to unemployment, but the main causes of unemployment. Okay, so that's what we want to focus on, is that word there. All right. So let's jump back then and say the controlling idea is main causes. So main causes and solutions. Right. Okay, what's my next step? What should I do next in my task 2? So I'm sitting there at IELTS. I got 40 minutes. I've identified that this is an open question. I've identified that, of course, it's a persuasive first person. I know that. I can see that from the question. I've identified the topic, and I've identified the controlling idea. What should I do? Okay, Saeed says plan. Hadil says plan, outline. Amit says introduction. Yeah, I agree that you want to plan. You want to think here before you begin to really write. So what should I do for brainstorming? How should I brainstorm, Mohammed Amin? What is a good way to brainstorm for this? Sippy Manchanda says thinking. What kind of thinking? That's right, Raya, critical thinking. So use critical thinking. Okay. So critical thinking means I should ask some logical questions. So what would be a logical question here? What would be a first logical question here? What, why, how? Yeah, so what would be a good what question? Well, what is unemployment? So what is unemployment? Okay, have a logical order, especially with open questions. It's really important that you have a logical order. Don't jump around these questions. Okay, it's not to have a job. That's definitely the most simple definition. What do people think of? So in a country, when somebody says unemployment, what do you think of the most? Okay, if I go and volunteer at a hospital and I'm working for free, do I have employment or am I unemployed? Okay, so now some of you are saying low economy or no income, right? If I do volunteer work, I have a job. Am I employed or unemployed? Okay, neither. All right, yeah, I would say I'm probably considered to be unemployed by most people. Probably this question is thinking of unemployment as not having a job and not earning money. So that's what unemployment is in our context. So we can argue that volunteer work is employment, it's employed work. But in the context of our essay, we have to be very careful about what we do when we define these words. Otherwise, it's easy to get lost. So a clear definition of unemployment is not having a job and not earning money. So it's a two-part definition. So why are people... Okay, instead of why are people unemployed, and here, don't forget main reasons, okay? So what are the main reasons why people are unemployed? And be specific here, because this will create the foundation for your essay. Lack of skills. Okay, sure. I agree that lack of skills is probably one of the main reasons for unemployment. Lack of skills, I would say, is connected to low education. Because when we learn, we pick up more skills. Lack of qualifications is the same. Yeah, so notice how all of you are agreeing that lack of skills, lack of certificates, and so on is probably one of the key reasons for low education. Now, when you're saying corruption or king of the country and so on, notice how not everybody's saying that. So even though that can be a reason, it's probably not going to be the main reason. When there's corrupted societies, then what happens? Okay, economic crisis is probably a good one. The cause of an economic crisis can be a corrupted society. Okay, people don't want to work. Sure. Politics. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so lack of skills, low education, and politics, governments. Okay, Alex says robots. Sure, a lot of you said this as well, that machines is another one. So hike careful, because the question is the main reasons. And also natural disasters can be a reason temporarily. The biggest reason is not going to be natural disasters. But a lot of people will these days agree that mechanization, so machines, are replacing human labor. So machines are replacing human work, and that is going to be one of the reasons. All right, so here, we have three reasons, 1, 2, and 3. Now you're writing the IELTS and you thought about these three reasons, right? So you thought about lack of skills, you thought about politics, you thought about machines. Are you going to write about all three of these in your task 2? So should you write about all three of these? If you want to get, let's say, a score of 7. Yeah, I agree. 2 is enough. If you want to get a score 7, even an 8, 2 of these are enough. If you want to get a score 9 and you want to write 400 words, then maybe you can talk about all three of these. So I would say here, if you're doing the IELTS right way, then choose 2. And of course, you want to choose the easiest ones, right? So a little bit of planning goes a long way. So a little bit of thinking goes a long way for you to do well. Now, if I'm in the IELTS, again, in the IELTS, don't argue your truth, okay? Nobody cares about your truth, all right? Not on IELTS anyway. Sorry, I should say that. The world does care about your truth, but not in IELTS. In IELTS, you're doing that to get a score. Once you get that score and you go into university or you go into workplace, there you can fight more for your real opinions in the real world. But in IELTS, don't fight so much for your own truth. Just take the easiest path to get a high score. All right. Which 2? What do you guys and girls think? Which two are the easiest choice here? 1, 2, or 3? Which 2 of these would be the best choice to write your task 2 essay? Adil says 1 and 3. Min says 1 and 3. Hike says 2nd and 3rd. Ashu says 1 and 3. So again, a good way to know that you're on the right track is look for the majority's opinion. Okay? Okay, and you can see that most people in the stream, in the chat, are saying 1 and 3. So most people think that the easiest way to answer this question is low education and machines are the easiest way to approach this question. I would agree. So I would say that lack of skills and machines are a very good 2 picks. Politics and government, I think it's more difficult to write about, especially because it's much more unique to each person's country or circumstance. So if people lack skills, it doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't matter if they're in Malaysia, if they're in Saudi Arabia, if they're in Canada, if they're in the United States. If you have a lack of skill or low education, it will be more difficult to find jobs in any of those countries. Machines are replacing jobs in a lot of countries also. So machines are replacing jobs in Brazil, in Chile, in Kenya, in Sudan, in Germany, and all over the world. Politics and government and what politicians do and how that affects employment in your country is a more complicated issue. Okay, it's going to be more difficult to get into that. You need a much stronger, higher level of English. So I would probably avoid politics and government for this IELTS question. All right. So now we've picked 1 and 2. And so, of course, we can think about how. So how do lack of skills impact unemployment? Anyone? How do lack of skills impact unemployment? So if I have less skills, how does that affect my employability? Thanks for that positive feedback, Ashu. It's awesome. Thank you. Again, guys and girls, if you go to our websites, ahelp.com and glshelp.com, you can see many, many more of my lectures in high definition, pre-recorded video. It's well worth it. So, how do lack of skills impact unemployment or employability? Keep it simple. Yeah, so especially these days, so many jobs these days require a wide range of skills and abilities. Like what? Such as what? Come on, should be an easy one. There should be one that you should think about right away. All of you who are watching this live broadcast of IELTS, which is testing your ability to do what? So many jobs these days require a wide range of skills and abilities, such as what? Let's think of some real-world examples here. Visualize, use your critical thinking. Computer skills, yes. What else? What are you doing right now? What are you trying to learn? Why are you watching all of my yakking and blabbering? What are you trying to learn? The international language of business and work is? Be more specific. It's English, right? English. So even be that specific. The more specific you are, the better your score will be on that IELTS Task 2. So computer skills, English, driver's license, etc. All right, sure. Now, how do machines impact unemployment? So how do machines impact unemployment? Yeah, there you go. Now some of you guys are getting the English. So how do machines impact unemployment? They're replacing human labor, yeah. So such as what? Yep, replacing human work, such as manufacturing, cost-effective, quality control, low error rate, it's kind of the same. Work 24/7, sure. And even perform work that humans can't. So, okay, so that's good. That's enough. That's plenty for this. All right, great. So those are some good reasons. Now we have the right answers there. And then we can think about solutions as we write, okay? They don't get paid. That's absolutely a very good suggestion there, RT. So they don't get paid. Sure, I want to add that in. Okay, so they don't require a monthly salary. All right, so again, let's go back to the original question. Let's take a peek at that, and then let's start writing. All right? So again, guys and girls and guys, materials are coming from aehelp.com. Lots of IELTS help for you there. That's where you can support us. Join our free or full course, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Use your super chat if you have it beside the emoji. Again, thanks all of those who are watching right now and joining. We're dealing with an IELTS Task 2 question. We've just finished analyzing the question and brainstorming for the question using critical thinking skills. The question is, unemployment is one of the biggest problems in contemporary society. What do you think are the main causes of unemployment? What solutions can you suggest? Include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Don't forget that part of the question. All right, let's start writing the introduction. So, what is the first part of the introduction? Those of you who watch classes regularly know that the introduction has 3 important parts. It's the hook. Thank you. And for those of the students who think that the hook is not important, it is important. It gets you focused. It makes you concentrate on what you're about to do, and it makes the reading more clear for your audience. Plus, it's a smooth start. So what's a good hook for this question? Obviously, it should be something about unemployment. Yeah, absolutely, Hike. I agree. Just keep it that simple. Nowadays, unemployment is the biggest problem all over the world. I would say one of the biggest. There are some other ones, but you might even go as far as saying the biggest. I wouldn't judge you for it. It'd be okay. So nowadays, unemployment is the biggest problem for societies around the world. Sure. So now we want to give what? What's the next part? And I'll read some of the other ones there. Unemployment has become a grander chaos for the world. Syed, it's a great one. I like it. I like your word choice there. Nowadays, most people suffer from unemployment issues. No the pros alpha. It's good. Utsav, in today's society, unemployment is becoming more and more prevalent. Yeah, absolutely. I like that one as well. So those are all good hook statements. Great. What comes after the hook? Many students who watch these classes regularly will know this. So what comes after the hook? Good, Fanil. Keep it up. You can get even higher than 6, but 6 should be good enough, especially if it's general IELTS for immigration. If you're going for university, you're probably going to need 6.5 for a lot of the schools. That's right, Raya. The next step is the background. And just a quick review here. The background means definitions and importance. So you need to kind of give the definition of what unemployment is. You don't have to be repetitive, and the importance of this. So what is our definition of unemployment, and why are we talking about it? What's the importance of it? Can you write a couple sentences? A hook is an interesting statement that captures your audience. Okay, so that's the hook. All right, so we have our hook, and now we're going into the background. Background is definition and importance. So what is the definition of unemployment? What is my definition of unemployment that's clear and agreeable? And what is the importance of unemployment? So why should we even talk about it? Okay, and don't use contractions like don't. Unemployment is when people do not have paid jobs, sometimes due to lack of skills. Don't go into reasons yet. Okay, we are going to go into the importance of the topic. Unemployment causes poverty, chaos, and hunger. Yeah, due to lack of jobs and revenue. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good approach, Syed. So that's a good one. So you're giving us the importance there. It leads to poverty. it leads to poor living conditions, starvation, human suffering, right? So not having paid work leads to poverty and human suffering. Okay? It's that simple. The background here is so clear and so obvious to most people that you just want to keep it really simple. Not having paid work leads to poverty and human suffering. All right? Okay, so now what comes after the background? So what comes after this? It's the thesis. That's right. So what should be the thesis here? That's right. Chaos means confusion, disorder. It is basically the opposite of order. The thesis is very important. The thesis is your argument statement. With two clear and distinct points. Okay? A good thesis will make your essay. A bad thesis will break your essay. All right? So you need a good thesis. Now, our thesis, of course, comes from our planning. So remember that we chose the two here. We chose lack of skills and we chose machines. So please write a thesis statement with lack of skills and machines. Okay? So write a thesis statement that's your argument, your opinion, which states that the causes of unemployment, two of the main ones, are lack of skills and machines. That's what I'm waiting for right now, is for you to give me some examples. I really want you to practice your thesis statements. It is the most important sentence that you can practice for your IELTS Task 2. You have to write a good thesis. In fact, for all of you who are doing IELTS for school and university, you must learn how to write a good thesis statement because all of your essays in university will need this skill as well. Okay, there can be many reasons which lead to unemployment, some of which are lack of skills and mechanization of industries. Not bad, a little bit soft. I would go a little bit more concertedly, more powerfully towards lack of skills and mechanization of industries. Nice parallel form and grammar there, by the way, Utsub. I would say the main reasons. I entirely suggest that the institutions must consider the employing machines or employing people with low skills in suitable work. The two crucial reasons for this is lack of skills and machines replacing human work. That's good, Raya, but you need parallel form for your 2 points in grammar. Hike says, I believe that machines and lack of skills cause more unemployment, are the main causes of unemployment. Don't forget the word main causes. It's so important that you put that in there. Manisha says the main reason behind unemployment is lack of skills and machines, and use of machines would be parallel form, Manisha. So don't forget your parallel grammar form, okay? That means that your 2 points have the same grammar. So let's take one of those. I believe two of the main causes for unemployment globally are lack of skills. We can get into it's not enough education and so on later, but just keep it simple here. So lack of skills, don't make a mistake in your thesis, okay? If you have a mistake in your thesis, it will almost immediately drop you 1 band score. Okay, so lack of skills and use of machines. Okay, notice the parallel grammar. So lack of skills, use of machines. Okay, verb, preposition, noun, verb, preposition, noun. Okay, so lack of skills, use of machines. That's parallel grammar for your points. Now, is my thesis done here? Is this enough? So I believe 2 of the main causes for unemployment globally are lack of skills and use of machines. Good. Is this enough for my thesis? Ike says yes. Raya says yes. Adil says yes. Sippy says no. Why no, Sippy? I agree with Sippy. I'm going to have a sip of my water here in your tribute. So, yes, exactly. Adil named it. You have to remember always the every part of the question. It says, are there solutions? So can you suggest some solutions to these? So you have to include that in your thesis. Don't explain, just add something about solutions. Keep it simple. Can somebody tell me what I mean? Can somebody give me an example? Can somebody tell me what should come there? So can somebody explain to me what needs to come into this one more line here? So what needs to come into that one more line there? I don't need to give the solutions. I just need to include one simple sentence. I have my 2 key points here, so this is fine. Okay, point 1, point 2. Okay, this is my point 1, this is my point 2. But I should add just a simple sentence here to make it a good thesis for this question. Zoya, the explanations, examples, and all that will come in the body paragraphs. Okay? Okay, you don't need to say the solutions. All you need to say is... So all you need to say here is... Fortunately, there are some effective solutions to these challenges. Okay? And please don't write that I will talk about below or that I'm going to discuss in this essay. It's a 250-word essay. It's short. You don't need to waste time or words telling me that, okay? So your thesis is this simple. I believe 2 of the main causes for unemployment globally are lack of skills and use of machines. Fortunately, there are some effective solutions to these challenges. All right? That's it. That's a level 8, level 9 thesis. That's the type of thesis that in university will get you good marks in your classes, okay? All right. Let's continue now then with the body paragraphs. Let's just look at the introduction just so everybody can see what we did here. So this is what our essay sounds like so far. Nowadays, unemployment is the biggest problem for societies around the world. Not having paid work leads to poverty and human suffering. Okay, and then our thesis. I believe 2 of the main causes for unemployment globally are lack of skills and use of machines. Fortunately, there are some effective solutions to these challenges. So far, if you write like that, you don't have grammar mistakes and so on, you're actually writing a level 8, 9 for sure. All right. If you include a 3rd reason, you would be a 9 definitely. Okay, then we have a body paragraph coming up, which has 4 parts. What's the first part of the body paragraph? Sippy, you can find my contact information, or you can contact me through our website at aehelp.com for academic IELTS gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. So you can contact me through either of those websites if you want to get a hold of me if you have some specific questions. So what is the first part of the body paragraph? First part of the body paragraph is what's called, it has a name, it's topic 1 or topic sentence, yeah. Okay, so it's a deeper definition of point 1. Now, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't start thinking again. When you do your planning at the beginning of the task 2, then you have this information if you did it right. So here we have a very important piece of information that we did during our critical thinking. Many jobs these days require a wide range of skills and abilities such as computer skills, English, driver's license, etc. Okay? So we want to use that information to make our life a little bit easier. So here the topic sentence is lack of skills. So since many jobs these days require a wide range of skills, it is difficult to find work with a low level of education. Okay, so here is my topic sentence, okay? My accent, thank you, Mint. My accent is a West Coast Canadian accent, which basically means that West Coast Canadians, Americans, we have a very similar accent. You'd find a similar accent in Los Angeles, Vancouver, San Francisco, so on. All right, since many jobs these days require a wide range of skills, it is difficult to find work with a low level of education. This is a good topic sentence. It's a deeper explanation for lack of skills, okay? What comes next? What comes next after this? Yep, more explanation. So that's part 2 there. Can somebody give me an explanation? Somebody give me an explanation here for this. Since many jobs these days require a wide range of skills, it is difficult to find work with a low level of education. Give me an explanation. What do you mean? What do you mean some jobs require a lot of work? Yes, you can watch this video later, PS Studio. It will be available in about 2 hours, okay? So you can catch up. So for those of you who have to run and leave and so on, don't worry. This video will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you subscribe, then you can find it in our videos and you can watch it after. We'll have some ads in it, but you will be able to watch it. Unfortunately, of course, you can't interact, but you can ask post hoc comments. So what's an explanation here? No, absolutely not, Satish. Satish just asked a question that I want to talk about. He says, if we choose to write about lack of education about machines, then can we go off and talk about other skills and machines for more causes? No, you can't go off topic. You can't suddenly introduce a new idea that's not in your thesis. It will confuse your reader. You've already given those reasons. You don't want to confuse your reader, okay? So explain it. Explain what you mean by it's difficult to get. If you don't have a diploma, then even many basic office jobs will not consider your application to get hired. Sure, that's possible. Think about English. In your country, if you want to get a job as an office worker, do you need English skills? So if you want to get office work, do you need English skills? Okay, if you don't need English skills, do you need computer skills? And of course, there are a lot of office jobs these days, right? So even if you don't need English skills, you likely need computer skills, right? So even basic entry-level office jobs require fluent English and computer skills in most countries, if not all countries. Okay, sure. Now, what comes after this explanation? So this is not an example. This is an explanation. I'm still just explaining my topic sentence here. So don't confuse explanations with examples. What comes now is the example. Okay, give me an example for this. Yeah, that's fine, Satish, but we did not talk about corruption, and we discussed that politics is not a good one to bring into this for IELTS to get a high score because it's too complicated to discuss corruption in a Task 2 essay on IELTS. Illiteracy absolutely would be a good one here as well, but we're not looking for more explanation right now. We're looking for an example. So if now you're talking about illiteracy or some other skill, you're still just giving more explanation. What you want to do is don't forget, guys and girls, don't forget this. It's so important. It's so important. This is your difference between getting a band 6 in IELTS and getting a band 7 in IELTS, okay? So don't forget about this part of the question, okay? This is the part of the question that you do not want to forget about. Okay? Include any relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. Okay? So you have to include your own knowledge and experience. Examples. Okay? So you have to do that. All right, and that is something that we can see and that we can measure, even if you have to make it up. Use your imagination. So give me an example of a basic entry-level office job which requires fluent English and computer skills. Yeah, you can write about yourself, so you can say I, me, my. That's right, Mint. That's what you want to do. So Utsav says, for example, most companies these days require good English speaking and computer skills to conduct their business. Yeah, that's fine, but you're just repeating the explanation. We already said that in the explanation. You want to be even more personal. Make it up. Talk about a person. Talk about yourself. Talk about your brother, your uncle, your aunt. So somebody that you know who has difficulty finding work because they don't have these skills. So Paraskevi says, for instance, working in an office as a secretary, would certain require to have computer skills and English language knowledge? Yeah, you're still just repeating the explanation there. So use I, me, my uncle, my grandpa, my brother, my friend. Okay, Maria says, these days everything is computer-based. I went to an interview and they rejected me because I am not computer literate. Good. Much better. What kind of a job was it, Maria? Talk about it. I went for a secretary job at a securities company, something like that. Or I went for a receptionist at a hotel, okay? For instance, when I applied for a job as a teacher, they demanded a particular skill such as fluent English and computer knowledge. Sure, that's much better. Okay, and remember the unemployment. So that's what you want to do. So for instance, my good friend John was rejected from a job as a hotel clerk because hotel receptionist because he cannot touch type. Okay. So here we go. For instance, my good friend John was rejected from a job as a hotel receptionist because he cannot touch type. Touch type, of course, is typing on a computer while looking at the screen. So, or he cannot touch type at least 60 words per minute. Okay. So there I'm going even more quantifiable, even more visible, higher level language, higher IELTS band score. Okay. So dealing with unemployment. Hadil says, do I lose points for spelling mistakes? You probably catch that sometimes I do that. Sometimes I make mistakes too. My spelling isn't the best in the world. No, you will lose some marks for spelling mistakes, but as long as you don't make too many and as long as your essay is still clear, you can still get a nice high mark like a 7 or an 8 or even an 8.5 if you just have a few spelling mistakes, okay? So this is the kind of example that you want to give. I do believe touch type is connected like that. Maybe not. Okay. So am I done with this paragraph? Is this it? Yep, Pushpalata, for instance, 86% of pharmaceutical companies in Nepal hire those marketing managers who have a driver's license. Good, exactly. So that's another good example. You can include yourself. If you don't, that's at least how specific your example should be. I don't want to conclude this paragraph yet, Hadil. I'm still missing a piece of information. There's a piece of information here that I'm still missing. Please, girls and guys, don't forget this. Otherwise, you're going to drop one IELTS band score when you really don't need to, okay? So there's one more piece of information that we need here because of the question. What do we need to say? We need to say something more. What should we include here? Not machines, because machines is going to be my next paragraph. Not the second cause. Not yet. Don't forget. Don't forget the question. If you have to, keep checking the question, okay? If you're not sure, or if you're scared that you're going to miss something, or you're not completing the task, because task completion is a big part of your mark, you have to remember to focus on this part here. What solutions can you suggest? You don't want to leave this paragraph without a solution, because then you have lack of task completion and you lose a lot more marks a lot faster than if you have a few spelling mistakes, okay? So don't worry so much about spelling as you should worry about task completion, okay? So task completion means that you're addressing all parts of the answer. So you should write, nevertheless, there are solutions to this problem. What are some solutions? So just give me a very simple sentence here. What's a solution? Yeah, absolutely. Government invests more money into the education system. Or another solution is watch live IELTS streaming classes for English and join us at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. Hey, why not make a sales pitch out of that solution? It works. No, just kidding, guys, but really, we do have a lot of help here. However, it's true. So let's go with the more selfless solution to the problem, which is greater government funding into education systems and developing education systems that are effective and teach the population for these skills, right? Okay, so there are solutions to this problem. Watch Adrian's live IELTS. No, I got to stop doing that. Okay. So, for example, governments should invest money into developing education systems that effectively teach skills for the job market. Okay, so that is a solution that I'm giving there. Now, if I'm extremely good at English, I can keep writing. I can give even more detail for that. But I have to be careful not to run out of time. I have to make sure that I complete the whole essay in my 40 minutes. So as long as I include this one sentence, it's enough for task completion of task 2. Okay, now I can do a connecting sentence, but I don't actually have to in this case just because the solution already works. All right, so connecting sentence is the fourth part, connecting or concluding sentence. Which can be this simple. This is one of the two main causes of, so therefore, lack of skills is one of the two main causes of unemployment, but it can be fixed. Okay. By the way, if you make a mistake on IELTS and you want to rewrite it or write something different, just do a very simple strike through, it's called, like that, and then write the other words above. So as a result. Okay, so just like that. Please don't do messy things. So don't do something like that, okay? Don't do a messy type of correction. Please just use the strike through and then write clearly above for your teacher so that they can see that, okay? So just nice and clear, okay? All right. So that's our connecting sentence. Now, moving nicely along, we're going into our second body paragraph. So now comes body 2. Also as a topic sentence, we're also taking the topic sentence from what we planned at the beginning. So here, replacing human work such as manufacturing, cost-effective, quality control, they work 24/7. So machines are replacing jobs. That's our point number 2. So we create a topic sentence from that. Now I'm going to ask you to write more of this rather than me, as I've shown you the example for body paragraph 1. So can somebody give me the topic sentence for machines? Can somebody give me a topic sentence with machines? And I'll give you a chance here to write. Somebody was asking, is this document going to be available after the class? Yes, it will be available. It will be online, uploaded about an hour after we're done. So write a topic sentence about how machines create unemployment. Humans are badly depending upon machines and are being lazy for work. I love the sentence, Satish, but I don't think it'll be a good topic sentence here. Think about how people lose and why people lose and what people lose because of machines. Robots are one of the important parts of our lives. Don't go off topic, Hike. Again, the question is, what are the two main reasons for unemployment? One is lack of skills. We wrote about that. Now we're writing about machines. Raya, distinguished reason is a bit awkward. Distinguished is a bit awkward to use there. Yeah, Hadil, I like that. Moreover, replacing human power by the use of machines is another major cause of unemployment. We've said around the world, so it's not necessarily. Yeah, so moreover, replacing human power by the use of machines is another major cause of unemployment. Sure, that's a more detailed explanation of our topic point from our thesis. Now we explain, Rafa, life, such as what you're doing. So what's the explanation here? Machines, Drashti Parmar says machines can do work faster, so people prefer machines. Not people, but companies. Okay? So since machines do fast and reliable work all day, or even say 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, many companies prefer robots to humans. Okay, now we can go into more explanation. We can talk about cost efficiency. So we can say something like, if we want to go a little bit more detailed to really go for that higher IELTS score, we can say, in addition, using machines for many jobs is more cost effective for corporations, so they are more popular. Labor. Laborers, workers. Okay? So in addition, using machines for many jobs is more cost effective for corporations, so they are more popular laborers. Okay, good. So we've written a good explanation here. Can somebody write an example for me? Yeah, Prosafa, I agree. That's kind of what I wrote in so many words as well as what you did. Okay, somebody give me an example, and remember what I emphasized with the last paragraph about the examples. So example coming up. Make it personal, make it real, make it measurable, make it something I can see, I can visualize. Adil says, for example, these days companies are replacing the construction workforce by heavy-duty machines. Sure, be even more personal, Hadil. So my uncle Bob was fired last week from his construction job because a robot 7R25 replaced him. Okay. Okay, so Alex, welding would be a good example if you pour that into a full sentence. Reading, Satish, will be tomorrow. A little bit off track there, but that we will be doing tomorrow, reading. Okay? All right, guys and girls, come on. Give me a good example. I really, really am missing these good examples. So the car manufacturers in India have replaced their workers with robots, and that cost many of my friends and relatives their jobs. That is a good example, Utsav. That is a good example. So the car manufacturers. It's a sad example, but it's a good example. In India, have replaced many of their workers with robot arms, which has cost the jobs of several of my friends and family. Sure, if that's true, I'm sad to hear it, but that's unfortunately what happens. Maria says, for example, self-service machines have replaced many workers in supermarkets these days. Absolutely. If some of you visit Canada or the US these days, you will notice that there are a lot of self-serve checkout aisles where cashiers are no longer working. You can go and do the work yourself, scan your food, put your card in, or even tap your card, or actually even tap your phone, and away you go. It's fast, it's effective, and you're not paying a cashier who might be having a bad day and crush your eggs while they're throwing it into your grocery bag. You'll be the only one doing that. So definitely self-serve cashiers, robots, are a good example. Yeah, I can say my Aunt Maurice lost her job because she used to work as a cashier for Walmart, and now they only use self-serve checkouts. Okay, so that would be a really good example as well. Yeah, coffee machines replacing workers is the same way. Exactly. In fact, one of the big ones, guys and girls, a sad one that's probably coming up in the very near future is the self-driving vehicles. So a lot of truck drivers, taxi drivers, and a lot of people whose jobs it is to deliver mail, food, products, so on. People, bus drivers, their jobs are in danger because within the next 10 to 15 years, we will have robots, basically software and machines, driving buses, driving taxis, driving trucks. So that's coming very, very soon. Okay. All right, so that is, those are all some great examples, some scary examples. What is the next sentence? What needs to come next? So what needs to come next? Yes, solution. I think that's what you tried to write as well, Raya. You end up with salutation. But solution, good. Now you guys are remembering that original part of the question. Good, Kamal. Good, Salah. Yeah, don't forget it. Solution. So what's the solution to this? It's maybe a little bit more difficult than the previous one. What's a good solution to robots replacing people's work? So what is a solution to unemployment created by machines replacing humans? Break all the robots. A huge EMP strike to fry the batteries and microchips of all the robots. Yeah, that could be one aggressive solution. Sure, there's maybe some other solutions. By the way, as funny as that sounds, Mint, to say just stop using robots, is not a bad argument. So you could say humans need to limit the number of robots used in society, okay? Or employers have to hire a certain number of human employees. So bringing in laws that, that force basically companies to employ humans. Okay, so there are different solutions. One is forcing companies to hire human workers, okay, by law. Another one would be to create new jobs that are specific to humans, okay? And of course, creating education, so providing new jobs. So you want to be careful, don't write about all of these, just write about a couple of them. So here, let's take the first one. One effective solution to this increasing problem is to create government legislation, or if you don't know the word legislation, you can say laws, or let's say government regulations, which force companies to use a certain percentage of human labor. Okay, now your solution doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be ideal, it just has to be acceptable. Okay, so one effective solution to this increasing problem is to create government regulations which force companies to use a certain percentage of human labor in their businesses. Okay, all right, great. So now comes the conclusion. And what's the first part of the conclusion? So conclusion also has 3 parts for it to be effective. Okay, don't forget that. And it's this simple, and this structure, so the structure that I'm showing you for IELTS Task 2, it will work for pretty much all IELTS Task 2 essays. So conclusion has 3 parts. Okay, the first one is a general statement, so it's a general statement of the question, sure. So can somebody give me the general statement of the question here? Yeah, a nutshell, basically a summary of the main idea here. So can somebody give me a good general statement of the question or of the idea of this essay for the conclusion? And you should start it with in conclusion. Not in summary. In summary is better for task 1 for academic IELTS. It's not a discussion. Discussions are usually spoken, Arjun, so it's a little bit awkward to write to end up the discussion. If I were talking to you, having a verbal debate, discussion would make more sense. Just use in conclusion. Not to crack a nutshell, okay? That sounds kind of funny, Pushpalata. We wouldn't say that. In a nutshell is quite informal, so I wouldn't recommend that. Finally is not a good idea either. Just keep it with in conclusion, or to conclude is the other way. Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds to conclude. Number of employees is expected to go down unless we start implementing these solutions. That is going to be your third part of the conclusions, I1. So as Hadil says, in conclusion, unemployment has been a major issue for several countries for the past period of time. Yep, that's getting much closer to what I'm thinking. So in conclusion, unemployment is a serious world issue that needs attention. Okay. What comes after that? So what comes after this? In conclusion, unemployment is a serious world issue that needs attention. Sure. Utsav says, in conclusion, unemployment has become a menace for today's society. Yeah, I like it. That's a good one, Utsav. I like that one as well. Menace means problem, but it's personification. It's a human who creates a problem. It's a strong opinion. Yeah, so your strong opinion here. Restate the key points. So here I can say, I strongly feel that machines and skills are two of the most important components to this menace. Let's take that word there. Okay. Now, after this one, what can I write? What's the third part of the conclusion? So what is the third part of this? Menace is a problem. It's a problem-causing individual is a menace. The third part of your conclusion is the take-home message. Okay, so it's the message that you give to your reader. That's right, Saroz. Or that's right, Raya. It's the take-home advice. There will be reading Saroz tomorrow in tomorrow's class, okay? Today we're focusing on task 2. We have our shorter classes, guys and girls, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then we have our double class coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our double classes are 2 times in the day, and that reading will be tomorrow, okay? But really importantly, let's focus in on this take-home message. Don't jump out at the very end of the essay. It's definitely a key part here. So what is a good take-home message? Now, I'll give you a hint. Look at the solutions. So here is body 1 solutions. Okay. Body 1 solution is, for example, government should invest money into developing education systems that effectively teach skills for the job market. Okay, that's my solution 1. And then look at my solution 2 in body paragraph 2. One effective solution to this increasing problem is to create government regulations which force companies to use a certain percentage of human labor in their businesses. Okay, so if I look at my 2 solutions, then what is a good take-home message for my reader? What can we deduce? What can we understand from our solutions? Can somebody kind of guess my mind, what I'm trying to think of as a good message to finish my essay with? What is the commonality in my solutions? Find that common thread, make that connection, make your essay coherent for IELTS, and you will get a much higher score. Education obviously is key, but in both cases I name the, yeah, that's right, Raya, I name the governments as being responsible. So solutions are available, and these are usually the responsibility of governments to implement. Okay, so solutions are available, and these are usually the responsibility of governments to implement. It's connected to my essay because I say that. Raya says governments play the most important part to the solutions to these problems. Governments can play an important part in the solutions to these problems. I1 type says absolutely. So that's very close to what I'm thinking. All right, guys and girls. So again, this lesson, and these informations are coming from our two websites. This is our general one, gieltshelp.com. The other one is our academic website at aehelp.com. It looks like this, and lots and lots of very, very good help for you there. When you log in, you have a My Student account. In your My Student account, you can find other students to speak with. You can contact me to book a live IELTS speaking interview. You have 6 full practice exams. You have lesson videos, and lots of help there for you. Let's review the essay from start to finish. We're coming to the end of today's class, so just a quick review. A good IELTS Task 2 essay has at least 4 paragraphs, okay? You do not need to write 5 paragraphs. 4 paragraphs, as long as they're good paragraphs, is enough to get a 7, an 8, 8.5. And this is our essay here, answering the question of what are the main causes of unemployment, what are solutions, and include examples from your own experience. So let's read the essay. Don't be shy. Read with me nice and loud. Let's finish up this class nice and strong. So nowadays, unemployment is the biggest problem for society around the world. Not having paid work leads to poverty and human suffering. And then our very important thesis here. I believe 2 of the main causes for unemployment globally are lack of skills and the use of machines. Fortunately, there are some effective solutions to these challenges. Since many jobs these days require a wide range of skills, it is difficult to find work with a low level of education. Even basic entry-level office jobs require fluent English and computer skills in most countries. For instance, my good friend John was rejected from a job as a hotel receptionist because he cannot touch type at least 60 words per minute. Nevertheless, there are solutions to this problem. For example, government should invest money into developing education systems that effectively teach skills for the job market. Therefore, lack of skills is one of 2 main causes for unemployment, but it can be fixed. Moreover, replacing human power by the use of machines is another major cause of unemployment. Since machines do fast and reliable work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, many companies prefer robots to humans. In addition, using machines for many jobs is more cost-effective for corporations, so they are more popular laborers. The car manufacturers in India have replaced many of their workers with robot arms, which have cost the jobs of several of my friends and family. One effective solution to this increasing problem is to create government regulations which force companies to use a certain percentage of human labor in their business. In conclusion, unemployment is a serious world issue that needs attention. I strongly feel that machines and skills are 2 of the most important components to this menace. Solutions are available, and these are usually the responsibility of governments to implement. And that's it, okay? That is a Task 2 essay. This would certainly score a 7.5, maybe even an 8, 8.5. If we add 1 more paragraph, we could push it even to a 9, but we do not need to do that. And that's it for today. Tomorrow I'm going to focus on reading. We will do 2 different reading exercises. I will do a general and an academic reading tomorrow for our students. Thank you so much for joining today. Please make sure to check out our website, Academic IELTS English Help, aehelp.com. That's for academic IELTS. Or if you're learning for general IELTS, go to our general IELTS website at gieltshelp.com. If you are joining our full course today, you can use the coupon I've given here, Live 20, Live 20, you get a 20% discount. And for those of you who just want to give a couple dollars to support these live classes and keep pushing our products forward, helping more students, if you have Super Chat, that's the little dollar sign beside the emoji in your chat. You can donate $1 or $2 or 15 rupees, up to you. You're most welcome, everyone. I appreciate all of your thank yous. It's always great to see so many of you in my classes. I really keep my fingers crossed for all of those students who are taking their IELTS exams in the next week or two. Make sure to study hard, study lots. Your dreams will come true. And I hope that all of you pass with some nice high marks. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night. Get some good sleep if it's late. And I will see you tomorrow at the same time and in a few hours after for the second class. Bye for now.